My mother-in-law invited my husband's ex-girlfriend over family dinner and tried to take my daughter from me as I was leaving, so I punched her in the face. I really need somewhere to vent, and I don't have any friends of my own to talk to, so I will post here. I have had a tough life. I was raised by abusive, narcissistic parents, and went through trauma that I would never wish on anyone else. At around 23, after being held practically hostage by my family, I ran away and started a new life several states away. I met my future husband shortly after while he was volunteering at the homeless shelter I was staying in. A month later, we moved in together. 3 months after that, we got married. My husband, whom I will call Jerry, not his real name, is a successful surgeon and makes a lot of money, has a nice home, etc. I barely graduated high school, and can't get any jobs above part-time retail level. Despite this, he seems to love me. My in-laws, his parents, brother, and sister, were not thrilled by me from the get-go. I could tell they thought I was trash by the way they looked at me, and treated me with a certain coldness. They were upper middle class and were living fruitful lives. Jerry confided in me that they were worried I was a gold digger and was just using him to squeeze alimony out of him. During lunch, I shared with his mother, and I told her that she didn't need to worry. I loved her son and he was the best friend I ever had. She sneered at me, and responded that I was looking for more than just friendship. Things never got better. When we got married, it was at a courthouse, by ourselves. I didn't want to invite my family, and they likely wouldn't come anyway, and he refused to attend any wedding between us. I had and still have no real friends, and his were busy at work. He distanced himself from his family at first, and we settled into a nice married life. I eventually got pregnant and had a daughter together. At this point, the in-laws wanted back into our lives. I decided to give them a chance, mostly because I want to feel normal and have a nice family life, and I want to provide that to my child as well. In-laws would typically ignore me during visits, doting on my daughter instead. I decided to live with this. My daughter is now 3 years old. Recently, we gathered for a dinner at the in-laws' home, and they invited Jerry's ex-girlfriend over and began to force some sort of date between them. Jerry and I were quickly angered by this. I took my daughter and decided to storm out. My mother-in-law tried to take my daughter out of my arms, shrieking, "You can go, but my granddaughter is staying here." At one point, she called me a jagged-toothed slut, prompting my other in-laws and Jerry's ex to laugh, which angered me enough to toss my daughter onto the couch, not a hard throw at least, and punch my mother-in-law in the face. I feel ashamed I did this. I never get violent, but her words made me feel so disgusted and worthless, similar to how my own family made me feel. The police came over, and I got arrested for simple assault. Mother-in-law was pushing for child endangerment because I tossed my child onto the couch. It didn't happen. Jerry has been angry at me over both hitting his mother and throwing our daughter. He wants to separate for the time being and move in with his family, along with our daughter. I pleaded that he not do that, though his mind seemed set on it. I just feel like garbage. I feel like I effed up my marriage, and maybe even my relationship with my daughter. I don't know what to do, and maybe I deserve this over my actions. I just have no idea what to do at this point or how to feel. Update: it's been 7 months since I walked away from that toxic mess. 7 months since I packed my bags, took my daughter, and left everything behind. 7 months of slowly rebuilding the shattered pieces of my life. I didn't think I had it in me, to be honest. For a while, it felt like I didn't deserve happiness after what happened, but then I realized I didn't deserve any of that either. After the whole blow-up at my in-laws' house, Jerry and I separated. He moved in with his family, but I fought for custody of my daughter, and I won. It wasn't easy, and I had to face all their judgmental stares in court, but I knew that staying there, around them, would only destroy me further. They wanted to make me feel like trash, and for too long, I let them. But not anymore. My daughter and I are doing okay now. We're in a small apartment, nothing fancy, but it's ours. I've even started working again. It's just retail, part-time, but it keeps me busy, keeps my mind from wandering too much into the past. My colleagues are kind. One of them, a guy named Matt, has been showing a lot of interest lately. He's sweet, always checking in on me, making sure I'm okay, but I'm just not ready. Not yet. It's only been 7 months, and I'm still figuring out who I am outside of that marriage. Maybe one day, but right now, I just need time. Time to heal. The other night, though, Jerry called. He was drunk, I could tell from the slur in his voice, and started asking if I'd already found someone new. There was this bitterness in his tone that I hadn't heard before, like he couldn't believe I might move on. Then the tears came. He cried, asking if there was still a chance for us, if we could be a family again. But I'm over him. I'm over all of it. The constant feeling of not being good enough, the cruel looks, the hateful words from his family. I can't go back to that. Not ever. I didn't say much on the phone. I just let him cry and ramble until he hung up. I'm not sure what the future holds, but I know I'm never going back to that life. For the first time in a long time, I feel free. And for now, that's enough.